Great having Sean Woodson back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Collin Anglin coming up here at UFC Fight Night, November 13th. Sean, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great, man. In the home stretch of training camp, and can't wait to get in there and fight.
Absolutely, and we're excited for this one. Kind of an interesting thing I sort of made note of, leading into this fight. This is your third straight opponent that is also rep by the same management group. Does that matter at all to you, or is that just a coincidence? Like, what are your thoughts on fighting yet another member of the Team Iridium group?
I don't put too much extra thought into it. I think it's just a matter of coincidence. I think these are just the fights that the matchmakers are coming up with that they want to see. And, Iridium, we got over 100 guys in the UFC now. So it'd be, pretty hard to try and tiptoe around not wanting to fight any or other Iridium guys.
Well, and I know, I forget which fight it was. It might have been the Yusuf Zalal one. I can't remember. But I remember, previously, actually, when I met you for the first time was in Boston when you got that win. And I know James Krause was in your corner then. Are you still working with James? Because obviously he has a relationship with Factory X, which is where Collin trains.
Yeah. So I wasn't able to work with him for that last fight with Yusuf. Even before that last fight with Yusuf, I had decided to come back home and train with my hometown team. But I still had plans on going and getting some cross training out there still with the Glory guys, going there for a few weeks at a time. But I got presented with the Yusuf Zalal matchup and the whole Factory X Glory thing. That doesn't, they don't go up against each other. So I wasn't able to train with him that camp. And then I had a talk with Krause, and we were planning on getting some training together after that fight. But after that fight, then here we are with another Factory X matchup. So that's going to have to get put on hold.
Well, and kind of saying that, I mean, you mentioned that Iridium has a lot of fighters, and I know sometimes it's unavoidable, but that kind of impacts you a bit, right? Because here's this great coach I'm sure you'd like to work with, and because of something he's tied to with another gym, I mean, that's got to irk you just a little bit, just knowing that you can't get to work with him because of, the gym affiliation.
Yeah, that and just the amount of respect I have for Factory X. I've prior to all this, prior to even getting into the UFC, I had somewhat of a relationship with Montoya and the Factory X family. I was reaching out to them on a regular basis and was wanting to go get training in out there. I'm just a huge fan of that gym. I remember when they weren't so well known. They weren't up there with the AT&Ts and the the AKAs and all that stuff. And I watched them from the beginning, like build a name for themselves and Mark Montoya and become one of the, world-class gyms, one of the best in the world. So, that's the thing that I like the least about it is that, having to go up against Factory X and Mark Montoya. Collin, he's a blank face to me, but I just don't like having to face off against Montoya again.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. And I guess the good news here is, I think those are the only two featherweights that are in the UFC right now at that gym. Maybe I'm missing one, but you should be good after this. So maybe you could go train over there after, maybe depending on the fight goes and everything else, right? Is that, like you said, that's something you wanted to do, right?
You talking about Factory X?
Yeah, Factory X, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure these are the only two featherweights they have. So after this, there'll be no more featherweights. So I actually, prior to the UFC also, when I was 5-0, my fight before the Contender Series, after I won that one, I had went out to Colorado for a week and spent a week training out there at Factory X and loved Colorado. So I definitely got plans on going back to Colorado. And while I'm out there, hell yeah, I'm gonna stop by there and get some training in.
Yeah, and in case people are wondering, Collin just went to Factory X, I think, last year, so you guys wouldn't have seen each other over there, in case people were wondering, because I know you always like little storylines like that heading into a fight. But what do you know about Collin? 8-2 record. You guys are pretty similar in terms of the record and everything, but how do you feel like you match up against him here?
I feel like I match up really well against him. I know he's tough as nails. If you watch his Contender Series fight, and even his last fight, even though he got TKO'd, he was in that fight until he wasn't, until he got hit with the big shot. I see no quit in him. He's, durable, a gritty guy. The reason I really like this matchup because I feel like, all my skills are going to have to be on display here to get the win. I don't see myself coming out here and putting him away with, one shot. He's a guy that's going to, it's going to be, an accumulation of shots. It's going to be a fight. I'm going to have to, all facets of MMA are going to be on display. And that's why I'm really excited for this matchup. I get to show my full skill set.
Who are you training with back home as far as training partners? Still training with our mutual friend, Jordan Dowdy, by chance?
Yeah. Training my boy Jordan Dowdy on the regular. That's day in and day out. Me and him are sharpening up every chance we get. And yeah, I'm just still with the same crew. Wolves Den. I mean, nobody really well known names, but I mean they will be in the future. And just with a group of guys that are just as passionate about this sport as I am.
Not that we want to leave anyone out, but who are some of the names you get to work with? Because, I'm always a guy keeping an eye on the up and comers, the prospects. And I feel like a lot of journalists don't ask about that for whatever reason. And these are guys that we could see on Contender Series, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. So my head coach, we call him Mop. His name's Andrew Evers. He's a professional fighter as well. He's a black belt. He's 4-0 right now, I believe. And yeah, my boy Jordan Dowdy, Bellator vet, been a pro, been a fighter for a long time. We got some talented amateurs, man, that are going to be some really good pros coming up. My dog Aaron Lake, he's a real talented amateur. He fought on LFA not too long ago, picked up a nice win. My boy Keegan, we got Sam Penites. I hope I pronounced that right. He just went pro. My boy Danny Moriata, Wolfman Javon Wright. He's been on the scene for a long time. Jamise Taylor. I mean, I could keep going on and on, but
that's
good.
Like I said, your teammates are going to appreciate that, though. That's the cool thing, right? So.
Hawks, you said what?
I was going to say your teammates will appreciate that. You mention them and stuff, and that stuff helps, right? Because it's good to get the names out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. You'll be able to pull up this interview, at a later date and be able to see that, I said a lot of these things before they were well known, because those guys are coming for sure.
And how much of an advantage is that as well, getting to work with amateurs? And the reason I bring that up is because, when you get to the pros, sometimes you get some egos in the gym. Guys have already made it. Maybe they don't want to get there on time for practice, whatever. But the amateurs, they still have to prove themselves. So you kind of, in some ways, and I've talked to other fighters about this, sometimes you get guys that are really hungry and you're going to get the best training possible because they're still working their way up. Do you find that as well, getting to work with guys that maybe aren't as well known?
Some of the amateur fighters, they give me more rounds than some of the pros do. I catch the amateur guys in between rounds, looking at me for the next round more than I do, other pro fighters. And that's something that helps benefits my training a lot. That these guys are super hungry and wanting to learn. And man, I love it. Yeah, I love it. A lot of my training partners are like I said before, they're not well known. They're not well known, but they're passionate, they're hungry, and they work hard.
Yeah, no, that's great. How's the weight cut going? I still think you're the biggest featherweight on the planet with your frame and everything. So how's all that going?
I am definitely still the biggest featherweight on the UFC roster for sure. It's going great. It's I always got to stay on top of that. Because I am the biggest featherweight, and I know, a lot of people probably expect for me to have, a super tough weight cut and to miss weight or whatever. I stay on top of it. I don't want to, I don't want that to be associated with my name at all. Like, yeah, he's the biggest featherweight, but he misses weight. Like, no, I stay on it around the clock all day.
What's your secret? Good diet year round, or just, good metabolism? What do you chalk it up to?
Balance. So I'm super strict throughout these fight camps, but then afterwards I go ape shit. I go crazy. I gotta get it out of my system. And I eat myself sick of all the bad stuff. So, within a week or two after the fight, I'm already sick of the bad food and ready to get back on a healthy diet.
There you go. Good strategy. Just get yourself sick so you throw up and then you'll never eat it again. That sounds good. Who's going to be in your corner for this fight? I imagine Jordan will be there.
Yeah, it'll be my same corner for last time. It'll be Jordan, my head coach Mop, and my girlfriend Janan, who's been on me with this journey from the beginning.
That's cool. Works for Sam Alvey, right? He has his wife in his corner, so.
Yeah, I know. Not a lot of guys do it. I remember, Mike Perry took a lot of criticism for having just his girlfriend in the corner, and yeah, I know I've seen Sam Alvey do it, and maybe a few other guys, but yeah, I definitely rock with my girlfriend in the corner.
That's awesome. How's this fight playing out on the 13th? I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you envision it going down?
Well, like I said earlier, I think it's going to be a fight where, you see a little bit of everything. It's going to, I know coming into this, his game plan is to put me on my back. That's no secret. I think that's going to be everybody's game plan. But, after that, the fight continues. We keep going. It's like you put me on my back and we keep fighting. So, I'm just looking forward to, showing all my skills on display. And yeah, that's why I think this will be a fight where you see a little bit of everything. It'll be action packed. It won't be as boring as my last fight. But yeah, I know he's coming in here to shoot 20 plus takedowns, but yeah, I'll be able to defend those and show a lot of my skills in between that.
plan after this fight, I guess, sort of win or loss, take a little bit of time off for the holidays and then reassess and get back in there in early 2022. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah. So yeah, after this fight, if it goes don't take much damage, I pick up the win. I'm wanting to get back in there ASAP. I know there's some matchups in February, some featherweight matchups that I'd be happy with. Either there's like 8 guys in February fighting that are featherweights that I got my eye on all of them. So I'm hoping to win this one, have a talk with matchmakers and let them know that I'll keep my weight down, and if anything happens, to slide me in there for February.
How many more fights do you have on your contract? Do you know?
So I just signed a new deal with them prior to this fight. And
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. It's a huge blessing. So yeah, this is the first fight on that deal. So
that's great. So you signed that before signing this fight, I guess, right? Or right after the last one, I would think.
So yeah, it was a part of signing for this one.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Congrats, man. That's great. Got to boost the confidence a bit knowing the company's behind you, right?
Oh, dude, man, a ton. Yeah, like it. I mean, you never really, it wasn't like there was a huge weight off my shoulders. It's like, now I can kind of relax. No, I didn't get that feeling at all. I feel like every fight you go out here, you're trying to, earn and keep your spot with the company. But yeah, man, it's a huge blessing, and yeah, huge motivation to know that they're interested in keeping me around for sure. For sure.
Before we go, I noticed on your Instagram that you are sponsored by like one of my favorite clothing companies, 1,000 Mile Global. In fact, I'm actually wearing their pants right now. I have 3 pairs of them. How did you land that, man? That's a sweet sponsorship.
Nice. Yeah, with my management, man, Iridium, the best management in the world. They hit me up one day and sent me some stuff and were like, "How do you feel about these clothes or whatever?" And said that they were interested in, working out a sponsorship with me. And yeah, it took off from there. And yeah, I train in their stuff quite a while. I got a pile of it right here. Yeah, I like their stuff. It's good quality stuff.
Well, and it's good for traveling, and not that this is going to turn into like an infomercial, but it's easy to travel with because they have those pockets, and the shorts are great too. Like I can wear them like out at dinner, and then I can go like work out in them if I want to, right? Like again, this is not an infomercial, but I love their product. So when I saw that, I was like, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, they got a good mix of good mix of training gear that you can also wear out to just regular events or whatever. Yeah, there's good stuff for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And this is an awesome fight. UFC Fight Night coming up here November 13th. Sean, always a pleasure, man. Anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Just go follow me on Instagram. UFC cares about those followers. Got to get that up. STL Sniper 314 on Instagram. But and yeah, just everybody here in St. Louis, everybody who supports me, all over. I appreciate all the support always. Never take that for granted. And all the people who support me and love me, yeah, they know who they know who they are, and I don't want to leave anybody out, so I just leave it at that.